Thank you for checking out this video on the benefits of quitting social media for over 2 years. This is part 2 of my social media experience series, so you should go ahead and check out the first video if you haven't already so that it all makes sense. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. This video will be split into 2 halves. The first half being common counter-arguments I hear whenever I told people in my life of the harm of social media. The second half will consist of my personal benefits over the past 2 years. Timestamps available in the description for those who would like to skip to certain sections. Section 1. Why people think social media is great for society. The most common reason I hear people give me for why they think social media is great is that people think they can control it. For example, I mostly hear, "I only use social media for memes and a laugh," or "I just use it when I need to kill a few minutes when I'm waiting for something." Whilst these arguments seem quite trivial and insignificant, the number of times a day you find yourself slightly bored and turn to these social media platforms can be quite alarming. Research conducted at Nottingham Trent University by Dr. Sally Andrews shows that people tend to spend 2 times as much time on their mobile phones as they would estimate they do, which was on average 5 hours a day. Yet somehow, people continuously underestimate how much of an impact 3 to 5 hours of your day, every single day, can have on productivity and relationships. So why do we kid ourselves into thinking we can control it? As stated in the previous video, these platforms are specifically designed and engineered to drain your attention, so personal data is sold on by these companies for a profit. They do this by making us see social media slowly replacing other forms of communication and becoming a do-it-all platform that keeps us interconnected, provides us with news and entertainment. This is perhaps why we see so many people glued to their phones wherever we go. The second most common opinion people give me when trying to explain to others why I quit social media is, social media doesn't harm you, it's just an app. However, in this example, I'm not too surprised by this response, as the research relating to the negative impacts on social media on our mental health is relatively new and in its infancy. In my previous video, we spoke about theories showing that social media can be linked to issues of social anxiety and depression. Researchers at Michigan State University conducted an experiment in which media multitasking, using more than one social media platform at once, was a unique predictor of both depression and social anxiety in young people. Another research article, focusing on young girls between ages 8 to 12, shows that high uses both of media that do not involve interacting with others, as well as media that do involve interacting with others, tend to be associated with negative measures on social well-being. The results here suggest that even media meant to facilitate interaction between children are associated with unhealthy social experiences. The idea that online communication would open up a rich social world that benefits young girls' social and emotional development is belied by these findings. Once again, as detailed in the previous video, these findings are in relation to young people, as the rise and ubiquity in smartphone usage has resulted in a greater saturation within their generation. If we think about social media use in adults or young adults, how many times have we seen social media be the cause of a relationship breakup or come in the middle of 2 good friends? The final most common argument for social media use is, "I need it to stay connected with friends and family I don't often see." This is perhaps the strongest argument for social media use that I have come across. We will disregard those who make money from social media platforms for personal branding or paid advertisement, as Cal Newport's book Deep Work breaks down in great depth why the skill of producing a significant piece of work or hard work at a task through lengthy stints of intense focus and dedication are far more rewarding in terms of revenue generated and personal satisfaction, which will in turn lead to others following your social media platforms if you so choose. Back to the argument at hand. A student away from home or a soldier in another country can both benefit from staying connected to friends and family through these social media sites. My counter-argument in this case would be, a few deep and meaningful connections with family and friends is more fulfilling than the brief likes and status updates these sites generally provide. If the student called their mother and father on a weekend and spent 20 to 30 minutes interacting with them on the phone, a stronger and more meaningful connection can be established this way as opposed to a "I miss you mum and dad" status update. This well-publicized idea is known as the 80-20 rule, or Pareto's principle. It states that a minority of causes, inputs, or effort usually lead to a majority of the results, outputs, or rewards. For example, Pareto discovered that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the richest people. Highly valued results are created by disproportionately fewer actions. Let's go into this with another example. What would show a significant other in your life that you love them? A. Liking an Instagram post. B. A carefully constructed text message. Or C. A quick hug and a kiss in the morning saying I love you. Pause the video and have a quick think. I would say the correct answer is the final option. As for friends you haven't seen in ages, they are probably not such good friends anymore. It might be a little more accurate to just call them acquaintances. Spending more valuable time with current friends and strengthening those relationships can be argued is a better use of our time. For instance, how often do friends or family have their smartphones out when at the dinner table or at social gatherings communicating with people that aren't there? Section 2. My personal benefits after 2 years without social media. It all began after reading the book Deep Work and a 30-day social media fast. After quitting cold turkey for those 30 days, I asked myself the following 2 questions. Would those 30 days have been more beneficial in my life if I was using social media? And did people really care? The answer to both questions was a clear no. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, this guy must be a loser with no one to care for him. That was not quite the case. A handful of concerned friends and family members asked if everything was okay, to which I responded it was, and I just wanted a small break from everything. They understood and left it at that once reassured I wasn't having some sort of mental breakdown. It's very important that you do not tell anyone or make a big deal about coming off social media if you do decide to try this for yourselves. Remember that you are trying to gain an honest response and not skew results in your favor. I remembered whenever I would make a post, which wasn't too often, I would sit or lay in bed waiting to see how many likes I got. The more I got, the more validated I felt, as it convinced me that I was more valued in society. However, if the post wasn't getting many likes, I would start panicking, wondering what was going on. Did people block me? Have I said something wrong? Do people not like me? Were the kind of thoughts running through my head. I loved the attention and admiration a well-liked post got me, and the feeling of belonging that came with it. I was addicted. During those initial 30 days, the first benefit I saw was an increase in my work rate and productivity. Not only did I realize this, but so did my superiors, earning me a long-awaited promotion. This would not have been possible with the constantly distracted attitude I was displaying previously. Consequently, this brought me the second benefit, which meant that I could leave work earlier. This improved my general happiness and satisfaction at work, seeing as I could complete my tasks quicker in a distraction-free environment. Focusing on one task for longer periods of time leads to more productivity due to the concept of attention residue discussed in my previous video. The third benefit I experienced from quitting social media was having more time for my personal interests, for example, reading books. I can average about 1 book a week now, and the thoughts and ideas taken and interpreted in these books will be the basis of my channel, what interests me. I had more time to exercise, go to the gym, cook the foods I read about in Eat Rich, Live Long, meditate and volunteer. The fourth advantage was that less distraction and better focus in general also allowed me to cultivate more awareness and presence in the moment. This meant that I developed stronger relationships with family members and friends who realized they could rely on me more too. The fifth and final benefit was that the FOMO that came with quitting social media quickly vanished too. It comes as a stark realization that nobody's life depended on the small commentary I provided of daily affairs, and nobody was truly disappointed it was missing from their lives. Let's be honest here, if the average user has 100 to 200 followers, the loss of one person's commentary isn't quite going to leave them distraught. People aren't specifically interested in what you have to say about your day or that particular picture that you happen to post. It is usually an unspoken promise or trade-off where you like my post and I promise to like yours back that takes place. Imagine if your daily posting a lifestyle was converted into a Netflix show for one season. How many people would watch to see you get up in the morning, check your phone and see how many notifications you have, then seeing how that number would decide your mood and state for the rest of the day, and then go through each app one by one, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and then start over again at the beginning to see if anything had changed in the last 20 minutes or so. How many people would enjoy this? Probably zero, right? Now, social media isn't an inherently malicious platform designed by Evil Corp to rob you of your mind until you become a zombie. I get that. I just don't think it's particularly benign either. A quote by Malcolm X: "That which you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate." I believe we are at a stage in society where social media is not only tolerated, but well loved. Despite the harmful aspects of these platforms discussed clearly outweighing the positives to a large degree, they have sadly become synonymous with technology and the modern age, so those who would denounce their use are often spurned and ridiculed. Not using social media is not a large political or social stance in any way. It's merely the preference of one form of entertainment to others, such as preferring Netflix to regular cable TV. This brings us to the end of the video. So if you haven't already done so, please smash that like button and subscribe to stay tuned for further content.